watch the media, and they're still doing it. Right now, they're hyping up the junk about Iran. We had the story about, people having to wear color-coded stars in Iran based on religion. It ended up being total crap. It came out from the ADL to Canada, and then it was worldwide news. The corrections haven't been. I still run into people who think that junk is true. We have the BS stories about President of Iran saying that he denied the Holocaust, which he didn't. What he did is say, how come people who deny it get arrested if there's nothing to be afraid of? And they said that he wanted to destroy Israel and push people into the sea. They didn't mention the sentences before that where it says, if Israel attacks Iran, we will hit them back. That's just what he said. But our media is totally biased to Israel because Israel has economic ties to the military-industrial complex. It is our cash cow, always has been, and it's getting the tens of billions of dollars from Christian churches. It has an ideological pull on people, and which is the main money launderer for the militaries, these Christian churches. Before centralized banking, that is who financed war, through the Crusades and so on, which is more about trade routes than it was spreading faith. It's absolutely ridiculous to fight over your stupid little invisible man to begin with, but so they got all these religious factions fighting each other. They've been flip-flopping Jerusalem around for 1,000 years. But these idiots, that money, that tax-free institution that writes God on our currency, but doesn't pay any taxes, finances by the billions, more than our government. Churches pay for the occupation more than the United States government. Do you understand this? The government is just a medium to use several methods of profiteering to transfer this wealth around. The churches are taking the money tax-free to finance an occupation. It isn't based on religion. It's based on one country who has a massive military, Israel, who attacks civilians across their borders. They have an illegal military occupation. They're building a freaking wall. It's not on their border like a lot of people would assume. The wall cuts into the West Bank. There's a sandwiched territory between the Green Line, that's the natural border according to the Camp David Accords, which Israel signed, and the wall. So there's a swath of territory in the West Bank which they are stealing. They're putting up racially segregated settlements. A settlement is a bunch of Jewish fanatics who think they're a race, even though they are from several areas of the world and different bloodlines. That should even count anyway. I don't see why that is even important. Why certain people all have to live together and nobody else can live there. It's retarded all by itself. But so you have these religious fanatics. They set up an Jewish only, which means both faith and an ethnicity, which scientifically is not a race, but in their own warped minds it is. They set up a settlement. It's usually on top of the water. They push the Palestinians out. They bulldoze down their homes. They shoot their kids. They just lob grenades randomly in the houses. They have curfews. They shut off all the power. They shut off the water. People have nothing to eat. It's a brutal military occupation. And when somebody comes and they blow up a bus, they do something stupid, and some of that is in false flag operations, totally uncovered. When they do that, that's definitely wrong. It's just as stupid as some other religious fanatics fighting each other. But you got to look at the context of it. You have millions of refugees living in piss-poor conditions, so that some religious fanatics can set up racially segregated settlements that have to be protected by a standing army. They serve as the pretext for why the Israeli army can't leave Palestine. And they're there. They basically have a slave state. I mean, the Palestinians work for $2 a week. That's the only reason they're even there. They haven't been completely wiped out is because corporations are using the cheap labor and profiting handsomely. And they don't want to win. It's like Vietnam. It's a 9-year-long war of profiteering where we didn't go on the offense. You cannot fight a war without attacking the other enemy's country. I don't think we should have been there to begin with, but if you want to win a war, you have to attack the other side. That war wasn't about that. We were losing thousands of helicopters, and Dell and these companies, usually out of Texas, that Johnson was part of when he was a congressman there. Lyndon Johnson was part of Halliburton when he was a congressman before he became president after they killed Kennedy. And that is another huge can of worms I like to address later, is JFK and RFK and MLK. They're all assassinated. They're all killed by elements within the military-industrial complex.